Hi everyone. One of my viewers is asking me about how to pick colors without it looking like a kid picked them. So that's what this lesson's about. This lesson's about understanding a bit about colors, and the best way to do that is to start looking at photographs. So anyway, I've managed to take a bunch of photographs when I was in Italy last year, and I'll just show you an example of. Okay, why don't we? Let's take something simple. Not too many colors in this one. Let's copy. I'm just gonna copy that and get the TV paint and paste that in there. Woo, my brush is huge. Let's see if I can bring that down. Okay, that's much more manageable. Okay. So the problem is that, he says every time he picks the colors it winds up looking like a child did it. And I guess what he means is, if you look at these trees, oh, these are green trees. So, okay, I'll pick a nice, there we are, we've got green trees, and then I guess, oh, the skies are blue, right? So, sure, why not? Let's get a blue sky in there. And tree trunks, trees are made of wood, and wood's brown. So, I guess I'll choose a brown. Okay. And there we go. And yeah, I guess we got a wall, and the wall's yellow, so sure, I'll just, take a nice yellow, and we'll just draw that in. Okay, so this is basically the problem that he's having, is that whenever he picks colors, it looks like a child did them. And, it's because there's no regard for things like value and saturation. So, just, let's see if we can find some way to deal with that. Let's bring the photograph back in. Okay. One thing I'd like to do is I'd like to teach you about how to pick colors from the photograph. And just looking at this photograph, I can see that the sky is not blue at all. It's actually a white. So when you want to use a color mixer, this is my own palette, color mixer here, and over here I've got this other color picker. And I'll show you how to work with a standard color picker, because not everyone's running TV Paint, and not everyone has bought this plugin. You look at the sky, you see a white, fine, you choose a white, and well, let me start with there. Okay, now I can go in and I can see, yeah, the sky is actually quite white. So I'm going to go and just put that in there. I'm going to cut a hole in, so we can see the sky. Okay, and maybe there's a few holes here and there, where I can see the trees. Alright, now the problem is down here when we get into the trees. I know it's not a green. It's much more of a yellow. When you look here, you can see that's yellow. But we can't go and start yanking colors off of the photograph, because that's cheating. But I do see that it is yellow. So what you can do here is on this color picker, if you examine the color here that you see on the photograph, and you see it is yellow, then fine. Pick a yellow somewhere, get somewhere in the ballpark. I guess it's about there. Okay. And then you can see that it's very bright and desaturated. So when you look on your color picker, you have to see if you can find, that bright and desaturated color. I think it's about here. I'm just eyeballing things. I would look up here and I'll look down here, and I think it's this color. I'm pretty sure of it. And, I can paint that in. And a really good exercise, let's do just a little bit more. If we look down here, that's much more desaturated. I guess we're still pretty much in the same neighborhood of yellow, but it's a bit more green. So I'm going to just bring that down to green a bit. It's really desaturated. And I'll glance back and forth between this color mixer and this palette, and I guess it's about there. And I can see that it's darkening a bit, so I think it's, if I look back and forth, I think it's about here. Okay. Now, an exercise that's good for you guys, if you want to get used to picking colors off of photographs, is to take a photograph, load a photograph into your program, your Photoshop or whatever it is. Look at various colors that you want to pick out, like the sky, for instance. It's a white. So I'll pick the white, and then paint a brush stroke next to it. Okay, so I think we got that one bang on. It's pretty much, you know, it's oversaturated. It's overexposed. Once it hits white, it gets pretty easy. Same thing when things get underexposed. You know, in the blacks down here in the deep shadows, you know, I guess you can be pretty. See, I can paint a brushstroke right next to that, and you know, whenever you're in the underexposed regions, you know, your colors are actually quite forgiving. You don't have to be dead on accurate. But right here in the midtones, okay, here where things are neither overexposed or underexposed, this is where things get tricky. So what you have to do is you have to very carefully observe, you know, what is that? Is that a green or is that a blue? And one thing you can do is that as you start twisting this hue thing around, look on this big square, look on your palette to see if you ever notice, you know, the color you want. Now, I'm looking, you know, particularly. Hang on, let me just highlight this region. I want to pick this color, you know, this color right in here. Maybe this particular leaf. I'm going to pick. Let's zoom right in on that. Okay, I want to get, you know, this color right here. That's the color I want. The brightest part of that right there is what I want. So I'm going to go and I'm going to start twisting this hue slider, and I can tell that it's a greenish yellow. So I think it's about there, and I'm looking on this color palette. You know, as you move this slider around, you have to look on the palette, and I think it's, oh, I'd say it's pretty much there. And if I just draw a brushstroke next to it, bam, you know, pretty much nailed that. Looking over, you know, here, up here, you know, you can kind of see that bright yellow up there. So I'm gonna look back and forth. I'm gonna move this slider around. I have to look back and forth, and I think it's okay. Oops, it's probably a little brighter than that. Try that. Bang. So you know, there's my brush stroke right there. So this is a great exercise you can do. Is take some photographs. And if you're just wanting to learn how to pick color, you know, eyeball the color, then by all means, get some photographs and choose a region of the photograph and try and nail those colors. And I'm gonna see if I can find another one. Yeah, let's take this one here. This is nice and simple. Let's copy that and get back to TV Paint and drop it back in. Okay. I'm going to take my brush size down. Okay. Oops. Let's make it bigger. Okay, same deal. If I want to get this lit section of brick wall right here, then I'm going to start twisting the slider over. I think it's a reddish orange. Probably about there. Yeah, I'd say it's about that color right there. I'll paint right next to it. Bullseye. And you know, if you look at that dark, you know, nearly you know, brownish black wood, it's very desaturated. I'd say it's about here. Maybe it's actually a bit darker. And well, it's even more desaturated. There we go. You know, so this is a great exercise to do. Is, you know, take some photographs, start looking at the colors, start moving the hue slider around to what you think it is. I think it's more of it's almost a very, it's gray and it's desaturated yellow. And because it's in the brighter region of things, because it's a very desaturated, that's the other thing, is that you'll find colors can be either desaturated or they can be really, you know, like really saturated, or they can kind of be in the mid zone. And when colors are way over here in the relatively desaturated area, it's so much more forgiving. You know, you can be off in the hue a fair bit, and you know, it won't matter too much. So if I'm going to look at this thatched roof, you know, I know I'm somewhere in this area, and I can see. I think it's just glancing back and forth. You know, you can. I'd say it's that. So, you know, this is a great way, you know, to train yourself to look at colors and, you know, sense what they are. You know, I think I'm going to go for the trees now. You know, looking at those trees. Oh, gee, I guess I already have it. You know, so do that. Get some photographs, start analyzing them, and pick colors not only in the desaturated areas, try the very saturated areas, look in the midtones, and pick those colors out. Okay, end of story.